Magi, the Labyrinth of Magic, begins with a boy named Aladdin, known as the greatest magic user. He was in a place called the Holy Land with a male genie named Ugo. Ugo said that he would grant one wish from Aladdin. And there is a man named Alibaba, who aims to conquer the dungeon. While working that morning, he saw Aladdin eating watermelon in a horse-drawn carriage. Not long after, a man named Budel, the owner of the plantation, came and saw the watermelon was reduced. He asked Alibaba for compensation. At night, Aladdin joins Alibaba again. At that time, he told Aladdin that he wanted to conquer the dungeon so he would have a lot of money. He also tells of the power of the genies who live there. Aladdin also feels interested in joining him. The next day, Alibaba invites Aladdin to see the 7th dungeon called Amon. Alibaba wants a lot of money to be surrounded by beautiful women. While walking, they suddenly collided with a woman named Morgiana, whose legs were chained. Aladdin, who saw this, immediately released her chain. Suddenly Budel came and attacked him and Alibaba, but he showed the power of his genie named Ugo to them. Everyone who saw Aladdin was shocked. After Alibaba learns that Aladdin has superpowers, he asks Aladdin to come with him to the dungeon. Alibaba said if he had a lot of money, he would take Aladdin to have fun there. While at the entertainment venue, they met Budel and his 2 male guards. Budel also threatened him to accept the job he offered. Otherwise, he would be a criminal in that city. As a result, Alibaba accepted the job. Budel told him to take wine and some slaves in a horse-drawn carriage to the next town. Morgiana also appeared to be in the carriage. While on the way, a monster attacked them, so the carriage they were driving was destroyed. The daughter of one of the slaves fell into the monster's pit, but Budel didn't care about that. So, Alibaba jumped in and saved them. Aladdin, who saw his struggle, finally wanted to help with the power of his genie. Even though Alibaba managed to save them both, he was trapped in a hole. Aladdin immediately threw the wine at the monster to save him. After that, Aladdin asks him to be friends. They were going to the dungeon together, then a magical portal appeared that took them there. When they got there, they were in flammable water. Fortunately, Alibaba was able to quickly dodge the fire. On the other hand, a city lord named Jamil enters the dungeon. Alibaba and Aladdin met some green monsters there, and Alibaba managed to beat them. But the monster returned and united until it was bigger and emitted fire. Alibaba could not defeat it, so Aladdin had to call Ugo to help him. The green monster was finally defeated, but after that, Aladdin fainted because he had to spend a lot of energy. Alibaba immediately gave him a drink. Since Aladdin always saves him, he will protect him in return. Suddenly Morgiana and Jamil meet them there. After seeing his fighting ability, Jamil forced Alibaba to become his subordinate. Otherwise, he will be killed. Finally, he joins Jamil in exploring the dungeon. Jamil then ordered Alibaba to be baited in the fiery path. Fortunately, he was able to cross that path, but he pretended to be dead after being hit by a fire, so he could find a shortcut to the genie's place. On the other hand, Aladdin, who just woke up, was told by Morgiana that Alibaba had died after being hit by a fire. Soon after, he discovers that Alibaba is still alive and above them. Afterward, Alibaba also picked him up, so they went to the genie's place together. Next, they arrived at a giant gate. They then opened the gate together. From there, they suddenly moved to a strange place. Shortly after, they headed to the source of the fire. Upon entering the place, they found a room containing treasures. Suddenly Aladdin is attacked by Morgiana. Even Jamil looks like he wants to kill Alibaba. However, his fighting ability was even greater. Fortunately, Morgiana protected Jamil. This then made Alibaba helpless when it came to dealing with her. Jamil also took advantage of the situation by ordering her to kill him. But when Morgiana was about to kill Alibaba, her hands were shaking. Luckily, Aladdin immediately stopped the assassination attempt. He also shows his strength as a magician who created the world, namely Magi. After that, Jamil begged Aladdin to make him as a king. But he disagrees because Jamil does not deserve to be a king. Not long after, a fire genie named Amon appeared. Amon, who met Aladdin, immediately bowed. He also explains that Magi is someone who chooses the king. It turns out that Aladdin is a magician who is loved by Solomon's soul. Suddenly, someone had locked the way out of the dungeon. Then Amon asked them to get out of the dungeon. Meanwhile, one of Jamil's men will stay there and ask Morgiana to come out freely. So, they were killed by the debris. Meanwhile, Amon chose Alibaba as his master. After that incident, Alibaba invited Aladdin to go on an adventure together around the world. But in the middle of the journey, they were separated due to an accident. Alibaba decides to return to his village and use all his treasures to free all the slaves. Thanks to Alibaba, Morgiana can live freely and return to her home village. Then he continues his journey to the kingdom of Balbad. On the other hand, Aladdin is found by a grandmother named Chagan Salman, who can see spirits. She explained that the spirit is the home of the souls. When living beings experience death, they will return to being spirits. After Aladdin recovered, he wanted to return to Alibaba's home, and it took him 2 weeks of traveling to get there. As a result, he will temporarily live with the Koga clan. The following day, the Koga clan had a guest, a princess from the Ko Empire named Ren Hakuei, and 2 of her bodyguards. Hakuei told the Koga clan to join with them because their emperor wanted the whole world to unite. But the invitation was rejected by Chagan, so her male bodyguard, Ryosai, made a fuss there. Finally, Hakuei asked them to return to the empire. At night, Aladdin comes to Hakuei to talk. When she explained her goal to create peace, the spirits there fully supported her good intentions. On the other hand, Ryosai and some people kidnapped the women from the Koga clan, so the men from the clan chased them using horses. Even if the Koga clan wants to kill the kidnapper, they can still hold back their anger because there will be a war there if they do that. Finally, the women are rescued and picked up by Chagan. After Chagan learns that Aladdin is a Magi, she trusts his advice to join Hakuei. She immediately announced that the Koga clan and the Ko Empire would unite in front of the Koga clan's entire population, aiming to establish their peace. Soon after, someone shot an arrow toward Chagan's back. The culprit was Ryosai. Ryosai told Hakuei that the Koga clan had killed the royal soldiers. After hearing that, Hakuei intends to go to the Koga clan to confirm the truth. Meanwhile, the residents became angry and intended to do battle. Then they brought their weapons to carry out the attack. In another place, Hakuei seems to be still on her way on a horse to the Koga clan, but she was blocked by a weapon from the Koga clan, who was very angry with her. When one of the members of the Koga clan attacked her, she didn't respond, but the troops still confront her. Afterward, Chagan and Aladdin came to the place to have a good talk. Hakuei learns the truth that one of her troops has attacked Chagan. After talking, Chagan, the leader of the Koga clan, finally apologized and declared to join her. She asks Hakuei to ensure safety and peace for the residents of the Koga clan. As a result, they all reconciled and returned to their respective places. When the Koga clan arrived in their village, Chagan died because she was forced to walk to meet Hakuei earlier. She gives Aladdin a message before becoming a spirit, making him cry hearing it. On the other hand, when Hakuei was on her way to the emperor, Ryosai and his troops suddenly came. They planned to kill her there. It turns out that she is a dungeon conqueror and immediately turns into a genie. She attacked them with wind power and was about to give Ryosai the death penalty. Even though Hakuei had killed many Ryosai troops, it turned out that they were still left on the cliff. But she had run out of her power to turn into a genie, so her position was pressed then. Luckily, Aladdin came there to help her. He turned into a giant genie and immediately killed the entire Ryosai army. Hakuei pointed out the presence of a female genie named Paimon there, so Paimon and Ugo had a conversation. She said that she would continue to support her master, that is Hakuei. She said Hakuei was chosen by a male Magi named Judal in her kingdom. After that, Aladdin understood his duty as a Magi. He returned to the Koga clan to say goodbye to go to Alibaba's place. Meanwhile, Morgiana is seen with 2 merchants, Sasha and Layla, to go to the kingdom of Balbad. But on the way, they found a group of robbers making a base. So, they have to face the robbers to get to the kingdom. In the evening, Morgiana seemed to be sitting alone. She thought her purpose was to go there to get to a ship bound for her village. Then she decided to defeat the robbers and stood in front of them. But they underestimated her, so she got angry and killed them alone. There was a woman who was a slave trader named Fatima. After learning that Morgiana is from the Finales clan, she wants Morgiana to become her slave. Suddenly there is a crow that attacks Morgiana. It turned out that the bird's claws contained poison that made her faint. Fatima caught Morgiana, tied her legs with chains, and held her with the other slaves when she fainted. In detention, she talks to a kidnapped little boy. Hearing this, she promises to save him from there. The next day the little boy had a fever, so Morgiana asked the guards for medicine to cure him, but Fatima instead made him as a wolf food. Seeing this, Morgiana's strength immediately rose so that she could easily defeat the wolves and giant tigers to help the little boy survive. After that, Morgiana asked Fatima to give her the keys to the chains of the slaves. Fatima, who felt pressed, finally gave the key to her. As a result, she could free all the slaves in prison. Suddenly Aladdin is beside Morgiana. They both fight all the remaining robbers there. Even Layla and Sasha, with their troops, also came to Morgiana's place. Afterward, Morgiana and Aladdin go to the kingdom of Balbad together to meet Alibaba. On the other hand, it appears that Sinbad is resting during the day. Suddenly, came 3 robbers who intended to steal his gold jewelry. When Aladdin and Morgiana are on their way, they meet Sinbad, not wearing anything. Then they gave him clothes, then decided to take a break and talk. After resting, the 3 of them headed together to the kingdom of Balbad. As a thank you from Sinbad, he rents out luxury lodgings for Aladdin and Morgiana. At the hotel, she met Jafar and Masrur from the Finales clan. Then Sinbad told Jafar that someone had stolen his jewelry while taking a nap. Then Jafar scolded him because the jewelry was used as proof that he was the king of Sindaria. Sinbad's goal is to come to meet a king in the city to open a sea trade route between Balbad and Sindaria. However, the robbers are causing trouble in the kingdom of Balbad because they are temporarily unable to open the trade route. Hearing this, he and his friends will defeat the robbers. Then in the afternoon, they had lunch together. When Sinbad learned that Aladdin was a Magi, he said he was the lord of the 7 gennies and the 7 seas. He also explained the magic that comes from spirits. Humans can only use spirits in their bodies, while Magi can use the spirits around him. Sinbad asked Aladdin for help to fight the robbers, and he agreed. They then discussed the plan together. Jafar, Aladdin, and Morgiana will watch over the robbers, while Sinbad and Masrur will be in the place of the nobles who are the targets of the robbers. After the robbers used the red mist sword there, they finally fought. The ones who did this were a woman named Zainab and the man beside her named Hassan, the golden sword wielder. Then there is a man named Qasim, the black sword user. When there was a battle there, Aladdin also fought with them. However, it was revealed that the leader of the robbers was Alibaba. Then Aladdin meets him, but he looks different than before. Alibaba asked him not to interfere in his affairs. After that, he used the genie's power to escape from there. It turned out that the purpose of the robbers was to steal the property of the nobles and give all the treasure to the poor people there, because many residents are dying due to the actions of the nobles. That night Morgiana infiltrates Alibaba's premises and kidnaps him to explain everything that happened to Aladdin. On the other hand, Jafar is explaining that the economy of the kingdom of Balbad is on the verge of chaos. The cause was the paper money made by the Ko-Empire. Meanwhile, Aladdin looks sad because of Alibaba's changes. Suddenly Morgiana comes bringing him to Aladdin. Then he told his past with Qasim. In the past, his mother brought Qasim and Maryam. They are siblings, so they all lived together since they were kids. But after his mother died, the 3 of them struggled to survive, and Qasim protected them in various ways. As a result, the bitterness of his life makes Qasim even eviler. Meanwhile, it was revealed that Alibaba is the king's son of the kingdom of Balbad. Because his mother was a servant there, then the king loved her. After that, Alibaba was born, lived in a palace, and was educated to be a great prince. 3 years later, Alibaba reunites with Qasim and celebrates their meeting. But accidentally, he tells Qasim about a secret tunnel to get to the palace. Then at night, Qasim infiltrated the palace to steal the royal treasure and set the palace on fire. So, the king, who was seriously ill, died due to the incident. Since that time, Alibaba has blamed himself for the incident. After Alibaba learned that the king had died, he fled to another place. That's why he met with Aladdin to get the genie's power and return to the kingdom of Balbad. Arriving there, he saw the residents in miserable and very poor condition. It happened because the new king could not carry out his duties. The king was named Ahmed, who was Alibaba's brother. Many residents died because of his actions. Afterward, Qasim asked him to join their group to become robbers and share the loot among the residents. Not long after, Qasim and his troops came to the kingdom. Sinbad, Jafar, and Masrur confronted him until the 2 camps fought. Even though Alibaba and Qasim will escape from that place, Sinbad's troops easily prevent them from escaping and attack Qasim's troops. Sinbad challenged Alibaba to a duel there. Alibaba also uses the power of a genie against him, but Sinbad can defeat him easily. This is fairly reasonable because Sinbad is the ruler of the 7 seas. But after that, he supported Alibaba to reclaim power in the kingdom of Balbad, because he also wants to help the residents. He said that he was indebted to the king of Balbad. The next day Sinbad brings Alibaba to the kingdom and makes an announcement that Alibaba is a prince. After that, Alibaba asked Ahmed to protect the residents, but he refused and did not care about the residents, so Alibaba was angry with him because he did not deserve to be king. On the other hand, Judal is seen heading towards there. Elsewhere, a man nicknamed Bankir came in front of Ahmad. Turns out he was a financial advisor in the kingdom of Balbad. Then Judal arrived in front of Ahmed. It was seen that Sinbad and Judal already knew each other. Ahmed said that he could not open a sea trade route with Sindaria because he had handed over Balbad's trading authority to the Ko-Empire. So, it can be ascertained that he has been used by the Ko-Empire. Soon after, Alibaba went home without success because the negotiations did not go smoothly. Sinbad and Alibaba explained everything in front of the residents. Sinbad also gave them the spirit to fight against Ahmed. Suddenly Judal comes after he finds out that Aladdin is a Magi, but he was surprised because Aladdin looked weak. Then he asked Aladdin to fight with him, and the battle between them happens. Sinbad can only watch their fight because his teapot genie has been stolen. Judal explained that Magi has the power of various spirits, but magic is created if given a little command to the spirits. After that, Aladdin called his Djinn, Ugo, to protect him from the magic. Although he can injure Judal, Ugo suddenly receives a fatal attack that makes his Magi leak. He lost control and attacked Judol repeatedly, even making him helpless, so that the fight was won by Ugo. When he wanted to kill Judol, then came a princess of the Ko-Empire named Ren Kogyoku, who saved Judol using the water-bending genie Venia. In an instant, Ugo was defeated by her. After Kogyoku learns that Aladdin is Ugo's owner, she attacks him. Fortunately, Sinbad was able to stop Kogyoku from turning into a genie. She was fascinated when she saw Sinbad in front of her because she loved him, knowing that he asks her to back away from there. After that incident, Alibaba and Morgana became very upset because they couldn't do anything. Then he checked the wound on his body, and she came and helped him to treat his wound. On the other hand, Aladdin was found unconscious because he expended too much energy and needed a lot of rest. Not long after, a man named Barkek and a vice king named Samad came to meet Alibaba. It turned out that they came to help him stop Ahmed, because Ahmed put the kingdom of Balbad on the verge of collapse. Barkek said that Bankir met Ahmed earlier and said he would help him improve the kingdom's economy. Bankir also lent the banknotes from the empire to Ahmed. Initially, everything went smoothly, but there was a sharp increase in currency inflation. This makes a very big loss for the kingdom of Balbad. They even had to pay interest on loans to the Ko-Empire. Because they could not afford it, the Ko-Empire took over some of the territory belonging to the kingdom. Ahmed then made the residents be used as loans of money. So, they were sold worldwide to be made into slaves. That's why Samad wanted to stop Ahmed, who had gone mad. He also asked Alibaba for help to fight Ahmed within 5 days. The following day, Sinbad explained that Ko's empire had grown drastically because Judol helped them strengthen the empire's military. Judol managed to train many troops to become a dungeon conqueror. Thanks to that, the Ko-Empire's military grew stronger. Their next goal certainly is to take the territory of the kingdom of Balbad. Sinbad wanted to talk to Alibaba alone. He says he wants Alibaba to be king in the kingdom of Balbad, but he felt unworthy to be a king. After that, Alibaba left the room and met with Qasim. Qasim told him that he intended to wage war there to seize and rebuild the kingdom. Then there is a mysterious man named Isnan who will help them. He gave Qasim and his troops a magic sword. He certainly wanted war, but Alibaba refuses, and he will stop Qasim from starting the war. To prevent the war, Alibaba asked Sinbad to train him to use magic powers. Then he trains Alibaba to use fire genie magic. The next day, Alibaba went to the kingdom alone and said he would bring the peace back to the kingdom of Balbad for the residents. As he barges in, he is confronted by a group of guards, and one of the guards has magical powers. In the end, they both fought there. During the fight, Alibaba tries to change his form into a genie, but he isn't confident enough to do it yet. So, he lost the battle. Then he remembered Aladdin's words, so his determination grew stronger. He also tried to use the power of the Amon genie. Shortly after, Morgiana came to help him fight against the remaining royal guards. Finally, they both managed to enter the kingdom. Even though Alibaba had run out of strength against the guards in the kingdom, he could restore his strength to fight the guards. Meanwhile, Morgiana tries to use the Masrur technique that she has learned even though her speed is still lacking. Finally, she can defeat all the guards. On the other hand, Alibaba seems to have succeeded in getting in front of Ahmed. Although he was about to be arrested by the soldiers, Ahmed ordered them to release him so he could talk to Ahmed. Alibaba wants him to end all chaos in the kingdom of Balbad. An argument showed up there, and Ahmed attacked Alibaba. Even though he asked the soldiers to kill Alibaba, they didn't care about his orders because he didn't deserve to be king there. Then Kogyoku came in front of them. Elsewhere, there are many groups of spirits around Aladdin, who is still unconscious. Even Judol also seems to be surrounded by them. On the other hand, in the kingdom, after Kogyoku learns that King Balbad is a clown, she breaks off the engagement. Then when Alibaba was appointed to be the king of the kingdom of Balbad, he refused. He wants to change the Balbad royal system and become a republic without a king, so that the residents can determine the condition of their country. Not long after, Sinbad came with the alliance of the Seven Seas. He wanted to appoint Alibaba as the king of the kingdom of Balbad, but Alibaba still wanted to build a republic. Therefore, the old treaty between the kingdom of Balbad and the kingdom of Ko can be temporarily cancelled. In exchange, the kingdom of Balbad will return the favor by offering the benefits of their trade cooperation because Balbad is the second largest trading area in the world. Moreover, the Republic of Balbad will join the Seven Seas Alliance so that the Ko Empire cannot attack them freely. Hearing that, Kogyoku cried and wanted to report this to the emperor and asked Sinbad to come to the Ko Empire. After that, Alibaba said that the kingdom of Balbad would turn into the Republic of Balbad, even though the residents seemed doubtful. Fortunately, he was able to clear their doubts and asked them to work together in building the country. On the other hand, Qasim and his troops headed toward the kingdom of Balbad. He met Alibaba there and cornered all members of the royal family, including Alibaba. He also offers to avenge the deaths of the residents' families against members of the royal family. In addition, Zainab uses the red mist sword to influence the residents there so that the place is filled with black spirits. Elsewhere, Aladdin is meeting with Ugo. It turns out that Ugo has summoned Aladdin's spirit to go there. He said that a group of people wanted to reverse the tide of destiny so that their spirit color turned black. Then he said goodbye to Aladdin because he would get Solomon's wisdom. In the kingdom of Balbad, Qasim's troops are seen attacking the kingdom. Seeing this, Alibaba decided to stop Qasim alone. He confronted Qasim's troops with his power of fire. When they continued to attack him until he was cornered, Alibaba immediately used the Amon Genie's power. But unfortunately, he could not kill Qasim. Suddenly, Qasim attacks himself so that his body can become a place for the dark spirit and makes him turn into a very strong black genie. Afterward, he attacked the residents from the air. Morgana and Alibaba keep trying to stop him. They had to stop the black spirit first before fighting the black genie. Sinbad tried to restrain the black genie and asked Alibaba to kill the genie as soon as possible. But Alibaba seemed hesitant to kill the black genie after he saw Qasim's shadow inside the black genie's body. After seeing the residents struggle to fight the black genie, Alibaba is finally determined to slash the black genie. Suddenly Judal came to block him with a very strong black power that made him cornered and fall. Judal continued to attack him until his sword was broken. He still tries to attack back Judal, but he still loses. Suddenly Aladdin comes to help Alibaba against Judal. He used the power of Solomon's wisdom to attack them. He also gathered all the spirits that were there. He uses fire magic so that the Amon Genie can restore his strength and that Alibaba can fight with him. Aladdin was able to enter the body of the black genie and managed to meet Qasim there. Qasim said the reason he hates Alibaba is that he feels jealous. Besides, Alibaba is filled with bright light while he fell in the dark. After that, they fought there. Qasim showed a picture of his past to Aladdin. There, his sister was seen dead of an illness, and the royal family burned even his house. After that, Isnan came approach them all. He said that his presence would revolutionize their lives. Qasim saw Alibaba's deep sadness when he saw the incident. He cried and regretted doing evil things to Alibaba. He now wants to always be beside him. Even though their social status differs, he still wants to be with Alibaba. Thanks to this incident, the darkness in Qasim's body finally disappeared. It turned out that he was dead then and said goodbye to Alibaba. Then the black genie disappeared from there. On the other hand, Isnan immediately ran away from there, but Sinbad and Jafar managed to stop him and destroy him because Sinbad's strength had returned. Yesterday, the robbers had returned his genie pot. In another place, there appears to be a group of people named Al-Sarman who want to create darkness. Meanwhile, in the kingdom of Balbad, Aladdin is seen comforting Alibaba, who has lost Qasim. Aladdin summoned the spirits of Alibaba's parents and the spirits of the residents who had died before. He did this so that Alibaba could see that all the people he loves are happy in the world without any hatred. After that, the Republic of Balbad was peaceful again, and Alibaba tried to create a new country there. While talking, suddenly, a mysterious white snake bit his arm, but they do not realize that the snake is the incarnation of Isnan, who was exterminated by Sinbad. Then in the waters of Balbad, several ships belonging to the Co-Empire are heading to Balbad. Sinbad advised Alibaba to leave Balbad for the time being, because maybe the Co-Empire will kill all members of the royal family. He made Alibaba faint so he could secure his existence. Soon after, Alibaba and the others went to Sindiria while Sinbad, the leader of the Seven Seas Alliance, negotiated with the Co-Empire. A few months later, Sinbad came to Sindiria to meet Aladdin and his two generals. He says that Balbad will be under imperial rule, but Balbad is given freedom and no more slavery. Alibaba thanked him for helping the Republic of Balbad. Sinbad also informed that the mastermind of the previous riot was a group called Al-Sarman. That's why he asked for their help against Al-Sarman. Soon after, a sea monster appeared in Sindiria. So, Sinbad and his generals immediately headed to where the monster appeared. Then they chopped up the monster like a cut of meat so that they too could cook the meat. There appears a woman named Yamuraiha and a man named Sharkan who will become a magic teachers for Aladdin. In the evening, they held a party. Suddenly, a man named Hinahoho and a man named Dragon, who had turned into a dragon, came there. A woman named Pisti and a man named Spartas also came. Sinbad tells Alibaba that one of the princes of the Co-Empire will also come there. On the other hand, Aladdin is practicing magic with Yamuraiha. Sinbad gives him a black sword so that the genie Amon moves to the sword. Sinbad asks Morgiana to become Alibaba's servant so she can use the genie's power. After that, she was asked to choose a metal holder to serve as a servant's receptacle. Not long after, Ren Kogyoku and Ren Hakuryu, the prince and princess of the Co-Empire, arrived. Their Kogyoku looks angry at Sinbad for what happened earlier. When Sinbad was in the Co-Empire, he slept beside her without wearing clothes. From then on, she thought that he had tarnished her. After hearing Kogyoku's confession, they all thought Sinbad had assaulted her. Hearing that, he asked Yamuraha to use her power against them to show what really happened that time. It turned out that Kogyoku was moved by some people to Sinbad's room and slept on his bed. Then they both fell asleep doing nothing until morning. So, it's definitely a misunderstanding. However, it is revealed that the incident was carried out by her male servant so that Kogyoku could marry Sinbad, but his plan has failed. Luckily, it all ended peacefully. In the afternoon, Hakuryu conveyed information to Sinbad about the existence of a group of shadows in the empire. They intend to attack Sindiria. Hakuryu helped him because he wanted to destroy the Ko-Empire. The next day, Aladdin and Yamuraha, Alibaba, and Sharkan are seen starting to train again. While they were resting, Morgiana came and showed them the metal case. It turns out that Morgiana wants to use her chain to later help them in the battle. Hakuryu and Kogyoku came to meet them all, but there was hatred in Alibaba's eyes when he met them because he still remembered the previous incident caused by the Ko-Empire. Even Isnan's snake venom further amplifies Alibaba's hatred of Hakuryu. As a result, Alibaba was hit by a curse from Isnan. When Alibaba is resting in his room, Sinbad and other friends come. Suddenly, Isnan out of Alibaba's body and reveals his form in front of Sinbad. Sinbad immediately slashes Isnan's body, and his blood hits Sinbad, making him get Isnan's curse. That curse makes the spirits of Alibaba and Sinbad turn black and fall into the darkness, just like Qasim. Fortunately, there is still a way to heal them by conquering the 61st dungeon and using the genie's power to remove the curse. But Sinbad can't go there because he already has many jinns, so Aladdin, Hakuryu, and the others will go there, and Pisti also went with them to go there. On the way, they seemed to joke and then passed the island of Torin. It wasn't long before they arrived at the island's 61st dungeon. Suddenly a force pulled them towards the island. Finally, they managed to get into Dungeon Island. Turned out there were lots of doors and cute and harmless creatures. As they walked into the island, they met a giant teddy bear. Then the doll attacked them, but Hakuryu looked dumbfounded there. Fortunately, Aladdin, Alibaba, and Morgana managed to defeat the doll. After that, they continued their journey until they met the genie of the dungeon ruler, Zagan. At that place, Zagan kidnaps humans to be used as plant seeds in the dungeon and absorbs the magui of humans for the life of the creatures there. He hates humans and even takes one of the human daughters hostage to make candy. Zagan told them to come to the treasure room so they could save the child. After that, they continued their journey through the dungeon and faced various obstacles. But Hakuryu has always been a burden that must be saved by them. Because of that, Zagan divided them into two groups so that Morgiana and Hakuryu were in one group and had to overcome obstacles together. Along the way, they met a giant iron doll. Fortunately, managed to defeat it. Suddenly, Hakuryu fainted because he let out too much of his magui. After he woke up, he apologized to his friends for being a burden to them. Alibaba suggests he be with someone else. If not, he will regret it, just like Alibaba with Qasim. She then received his advice, and their relationship became closer. Judal, on the other hand, seems to be making his own attack on Sindiria and breaking the barrier that Yamuraha had set up. Then Jafar attacked him with his troops, but his strength does not work against a Magi. Suddenly, Sinbad came out and tried to stop Judal. Judal said that Aladdin's existence was strange because there should only be 3 Magi in the world: Yunnan Magi, Scheherazade Magi, and Judal Magi. In addition, Judal warns Sinbad that the Al-Sarman group has started to move. They intended to fight against him. Even Judal said that some people from Al-Sarman were heading to the 61st dungeon. On Dungeon Island, Aladdin and his friends are fighting against the monsters so that they can explore the dungeon deeper and meet Zagan there again. Eventually, Alibaba managed to slash Zagan's neck. After that, he regenerated, so they were both cornered and fell into a hole. Luckily, Morgiana was able to use the power of the fire genie through her chains and managed to save them all. After successfully returning to the top, she intends to kill Zagan's core body down there. She managed to burn it but fainted from using her magui too much. After that, they went to the treasure room. On the other hand, Isnan and his colleagues seem to have arrived on the island. Not long after, Aladdin and Alibaba confronted Isnan's group, while Hakuryu brought Morgiana to a safe place. Suddenly, came a princess named Dunya who was seen using a container of darkness similar to the one Qasim used. When Dunya turned into a giant black genie, Alibaba remembered Qasim. And Hakuryu seems to be looking for Zagan to get the genie's power to help them in the battle later. In Sindiria, Judal asks Sinbad not to die against Al-Sarman, because it was Judal and the Ko-Empire who would destroy Sinbad and Sindiria. They have 5 dungeon conquerors, namely Ren Hakue, Ren Kogyoku, Ren Koha, Ren Komaku, and Ren Koneku, who are the strongest among them. After hearing this, Sinbad prepared himself for war. Yamuraha took 10 days to create the barrier. As a result, Sinbad decided to do battle directly. But for the time being, he has not been able to join the fight because he is still under the curse. On the other hand, Kogyoku came to Sinbad's room to apologize that the Empire had caused trouble for Cinderia, but he didn't blame her because the mastermind behind it all was the Al-Sarman group. In another place, Alibaba and Aladdin seem to have difficulty fighting the Isnan group. Alibaba seems to change his sword to its initial form so he can defeat Dunya's knight there. Meanwhile, Aladdin continues to attack Dunya using his magic power and reduces her Magui. After that, she transformed into a half-human genie. Shortly after, Hakuryu came to help Alibaba. However, Dunya cast her strongest magic spell on them. Meanwhile, on the island of Cinderia, it appears that all of Sinbad's generals are facing the Black Genie. They continued to attack the Genie army until Shere Khan seemed cornered. Even the other generals found it difficult to deal with them. It turned out that the purpose of the Genies was only to buy time to destroy Cinderia. In the dungeon, Aladdin and Alibaba seemed to team up to fight Dunya and her knights, but Hakuryu's hand was cut off while trying to protect Alibaba. At the same time, Dunya seemed to have finished casting her magic spell. Fortunately, Aladdin managed to trick her with an illusion that made their Magui go. Even though Dunya intends to take revenge on Alibaba for defeating her knight, Isnan kills her because she is no longer useful. On the island of Cinderia, it seems Masrur almost defeated his enemy, while Shere Khan looks able to defeat his opponent. In Dungeon Island, Dunya tells about her memory of when there was an attack on her village. Even the young Dunya saw many people die in front of her. That's why she has such a great grudge. Aladdin, who tried to see her memories deeper, was consumed by the power of the Black Spirit. On the other hand, it appears that Alibaba has turned into a Black Spirit King due to Isnan's poison. Afterward, Morgiana came in front of Alibaba to bring him back to his senses. As they fight, she sees that he is not yet completely possessed by the Spirit of Darkness. Then Hakuryu uses Zagan's genie power to make his left hand whole again so he can fight again. Then Aladdin used the power of Solomon's wisdom. On the island of Cinderia, a black shadow was seen surrounding the island. Then Kogyoku came to help them, while Yamuraha was cornered while fighting them. When the enemy is about to attack Yamuraha, she can reflect the attack so that the black shadow surrounding the island disappears. Kogyoku also fought against the enemy and managed to defeat him so that the black shadow completely disappeared and the island of Cinderia was saved. Shortly after, Sinbad asked Jafar to prepare teleportation to go to Aladdin's place. Meanwhile, Aladdin is seen entering Alibaba's subconscious so he can save Alibaba from the darkness. Thanks to the help of all his friends, Alibaba managed to escape Isnan's curse. When Isnan wanted to escape from the dungeon, Sinbad came in front of him via teleportation. Sinbad immediately changed his form into a faux-color genie, and even he could remove his curse easily so that he could combine the spirit of light and the spirit of darkness. Although Insan's original body has been destroyed by Sinbad, there are still remnants of Isnan's curse in Alibaba's body. Before Aladdin destroys Isnan, he asks Isnan to explain all his actions. Finally, the existence of the great King Solomon with all his genies and 3 Magi was shown, but one of the Magi wreaks havoc and destroys their kingdom. Fortunately, King Solomon was able to stop the whole mess. After that, Aladdin purified Isnan with the light spirit and made him die peacefully. Dunya was also allowed to meet the spirit of her knight, so that they can all live in peace. The anime ends.